Well, hello, this is a presentation for something I like to call Automagical. It looks something like this. On the left we have Objective-C code, and on the right we get a C# translation, and some things obviously are the same but others aren't. Like, let's create a boolean variable, see, and it automatically translates it from Objective-C to C#. So okay, and maybe let's create a string. This is basically how it works. It translates the types into the correct C# types. So it was the @ for any string, stuff like that, the pointers. But the more prominent stuff would be the classes, how to transform it. Automatically transforms any Objective-C classes code you write. And we know in Objective-C you have to write at the interface. So let's create, I don't know, my class, and then we have and poof, it automatically creates a C# code that's the same as in this Objective-C code. So here in between these brackets you can create variables like, you know, like before, and by default they're protected in Objective-C. So like if you want to make public variables, you write at public, and then it of course automatically changes into public also in C# side. You can like mix, maybe create some private variables, I don't know, let's add a boolean again. Okay, stuff like that. So now let's add a function, I don't know, just something, test, and nothing happens because in Objective-C you actually have to create an implementation for it. So this would be usually in a myClass.h in a header file, and then here we would have the implementation file, and it goes something like this: implementation of my class, again at end, and then here we actually write the code that goes into test, like, see, okay, here something like, I don't know, let's just write out hello world, and this automatically changes like here into the C# version console write line. All right, so we have our functions, and you see this is a public function because it's declared in header. If I create here another one, I don't know, let's create this is a private function, and because it's not declared in the header, so here it's not public, it's just a normal private function. Let's say return 0. And so here, how do we call this function? Well, there's this open brackets notation, and we call self private function, and this will actually call this dot private function. This is, you know, how it is in C#, and this is how it is in Objective-C. How about if we have, so let's add a parameter. So here you do this, like, okay, let's say we put in an int a, and then it returns, I don't know, 2 times the int. Okay, so how do you call this? Just call, I don't know, 14, because I like 14. And it's like that. And how about if we need more parameters? Let's turn this function into add a to b. So here, and then we'll return a plus b. So here you see in Objective-C you have to mangle whatever the parameters. So the function name is actually consists of add and to, and this a and b and the parameters in C#. This would look like this. It just automatically joins it together from add and to. So here, how would we call this? We just call self add 4 to 14, and here this is a call to add 2. All right, so these function calls. Well, there's a special kind of a function, like if we want to create a new class here, let's create a new my class, and it's a pointer because it's an object. We create in Objective-C, we call a function called alloc, which allocates the memory, and then everyone has an init message, and then this is actually how you create a new class in Objective-C. And if we want to write this function, like init, there's actually there's a way how every init function looks like. It's first you call init on your base, and then on your super in Objective-C, and then you check if this returned something normal, if it returned a valid object, and then we just return ourselves. But this is so basic code. You always have to write in Objective-C. It's the convenient, but here it's in, let's say, I don't know, here is an initialization code afterwards. So actually in in C# this would just be normal code. But let's say, okay, so maybe this is not a normal, the usual constructor. Let's say you pass in a parameter. I don't know. Let's say we have here a private variable called capacity, and then we call this function init with capacity and the capacity. This is how it usually look like, and then we would go capacity is the capacity, right? So we see we have a constructor that gets a parameter capacity, and then also when we initialize it, we go init with capacity, I don't know, 100, and then this would hopefully, or not, alloc init with capacity 100. Yay. Let's see, syntax error, of course. Okay, so here we have a, let's go. Okay, now we are compiling. Capacity is equals the capacity here. See, we are setting the private member, and here we are initializing my class with the 100. There's no named constructors in C#. Okay, but let's say, for example, that we are inheriting this class from, I don't know, from my array class, which already has the init with capacity. So here we would just call init super init with capacity, I don't know, and we would send inside the capacity, right? The capacity, and then we don't have to do this here. We can just, I don't know, here is our own initialization. And so here in this from Objective-C translates to automatically to C# version of it. Like you have the base call to the base constructor. Okay, so this is constructors, functions. It all automatically, the program automatically translates everything from Objective-C. What else we have? Oh, we have like a property. So we've made this capacity variable. So let's now create a property for it. And in Objective-C we have add property int capacity. Nothing just happens because we have to also synthesize this in the implementation. So here we said in synthesize capacity, and this automatically creates a getter and setter in C#, right? Like if we want to have only the getter, that would be a read-only property. In Objective-C this is done like this, read-only. Here and here you see it automatically knows that there's no setter. And even sometimes we have custom accessors. So like we don't do apt synthesize, but we just write our own, because at synthesize actually what it does, it just does this, like something like this, int capacity, and then it just returns capacity, right? And so this automatically gets like, or something, I don't know, maybe just return 0 always. And this is it creates a property on the C# side. Okay. There's also like, we can put an interface here. Interface, it just adds it in the C# syntax, and usually this is a class called NSObject, but this is just a normal object in C#. You don't have to say like inherit from object, so this automatically gets taken out. So yeah, here this is getting pretty good actually right now. So I can write any code in Objective-C, and this automatically translates to C#. Now that's programmer porn. That's what I always wanted to do, something cool like this. Thanks for watching.